this could save Black Ops 7 zombies. Let's discuss. Hi guys, this is Bear Z coming at you with a brand new video. So the first thing that I want to talk about is just the most controversial thing out there for the entire zombies community, and that is going to be the starting loadout. Now, we have seen starting loadouts for Call of Duty since Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. If you want to count Black Ops 4, sure, you can count Call of Duty Black Ops 4, but it was a little bit different, and it still had somewhat of a starting round pistol or gun for that matter, but it was still classic enough where it felt like good old classic zombies. On the other hand, Cold War has introduced something that I feel like a lot of players, just really don't like, and that is going to be the loadout system. I'm going to be discussing why the players don't like the loadout system, and I want to be talking about the changes that they could actually do for this entire system to make everything great again. I feel like the biggest reason as to why people don't like loadouts is it makes one of the core features of zombies useless, that being the mystery box. Now, how many times do you start with the best weapon automatically? And it just takes all the fun out of everything. Sure, you're starting with the best weapon and you get to grow as the rounds grow, and it just, makes it more fun that way. But I feel like what made zombies is, gambling your points away like a control freak at that point. Just hoping you get the best weapon out of the box, or hoping that next spin could get you the ray gun. Honestly, this is just one of the biggest talking points when it does come to the loadout system, because you can't really change the starting weapon. Like, you can't start with a pistol anymore. You just have to choose whatever you want. Now, there are some arguments out there that saying that you can start with a pistol. Honestly, that's what I do for the time being, but it still makes the mystery box completely useless, knowing that you can go in there with any weapon that you want and just completely obliterate everything. Another thing that I feel like could make the loadout system a bit iffy is starting out with, a lethal and a tactical. Just choosing those things in zombies is great, don't get me wrong. But if there's already going to be, let's say, a crafting table within Black Ops 7 zombies, there's really, no need for this type of equipment within Call of Duty zombies entirely. Like, the best ones were the ones that you got from the side Easter eggs or the mystery box. Those being Matryoshka dolls, Gersh devices, and even monkeys. Do you guys remember when monkeys were in the box and now all of a sudden it's a craftable item? I don't know if that's still a good change or not about monkeys being craftable, but whatever. It's just like those special things that even made the mystery box more useful. You really can't start with a Gersh device, or you can't start with monkey bombs or anything like that, because that would be too overpowered. But honestly, this also just takes the, luck in the draw away, because you're starting with a little bit of something while, you still have to go for those other things that are not in the mystery box. And this puts two and two together. You starting with equipment, the crafting table becomes a little bit more useless. And if you start with any weapon, it makes the mystery box a little bit more useless. Because if you just start with everything right off the get-go, it just, completely defeats the purpose of whatever those items that we're talking about is. Alright, so now we're going to read some community reactions towards the Black Ops entirety loadout system for zombies. So this says, I hope loadouts go away with Black Ops 6 zombies. As the title states, loadouts take the fun out of survivability of zombies. Also, wall buys are irrelevant, which is true. I hope they make it simple like before without all the bells and whistles, but at the same time, making it fun and creative without making OP like Cold War zombies. And honestly, the entirety of Cold War zombies was just broken with the Gallo S12 or whatever that Spaz variant is. Anyone know when to expect more gameplay info, as BO6 is only about 2 months away from launch, correct? And he's just asking a question there. Now, the guy below him said something very interesting that I want to take note of and talk about it later in the video. He says they should just bring back the BO4 system. Instead of having entire selection of weapons at your disposal right away, you had only specific starting weapons that you had to progress for. No ARs, LMGs, or anything super overpowered, just pistols, a shotgun, a marksman rifle, and an SMG. I feel like that's the best of both worlds. Still having the option to give yourself a slight advantage from the start if you want, but still being limited in your options so it's not too easy. So now I'm going to segue into the changes that could happen with Call of Duty Black Ops 7, or none of these could happen, and we can still see the same exact systems and implementations that we currently have with Call of Duty Black Ops 6 zombies. But the first one being just bring it back to the classic roots of Black Ops 1, 2, and 3. This is best for the hardcore fans out there. Now, as for percentage-wise, I don't know how much people play zombies. I don't know if it's like 50% casuals, 50% hardcore players, or 70% casuals, or 30% hardcore players. I don't have those numbers for you guys, so it's really hard for me to tell, but this would honestly just bring it back to the roots. Now, would I be happy with this change personally? Yes, but I can also see the flip side of it, where if it's 80% casual players and 20% hardcore players, Treyarch may not want to do that and instead go with my next option. The next topic I want to segue into is going to be, the Black Ops 4 loadout system. The Black Ops 4 loadout system was okay. It was definitely better than the one that we have now, where, you start with a random assortment of weapons. You get to pick, your equipment and everything in between. But it wasn't like completely busted. It's not like you start with the Maelstrom on level 1 and then you get Hidden Power, Perkaholic and everything else in between, and you're already all set up for, I don't know, the Terminus boss fight. And enjoy this Terminus boss fight with me and my subscriber of mine, because this is just absolutely hilarious. But honestly, it's just the best of both worlds. It's catering to both casual players and it's catering to both hardcore players out there. Honestly, this would be a cool addition to the game. I have two more things to talk about. One of them is less important than the other, but this one I feel like is honestly the best for both players, and that is simply creating two different game modes. Now, honestly, we have seen leaks about classic mode zombies for quite some time, and I don't know why it's not coming. It's literally the best of both worlds. If people want to play on classic mode, where it's just like the good old days, they can. If people want to, the more casual players want to start with everything, they can do that too. And Easter eggs are enabled on both maps, and side Easter eggs too, and crafting tables or whatever the case may be. It's fine, on like the casual side of things. But honestly, this would just be the best of both worlds, because, you're really going to have the people who want to start with a pistol go on the classic mode. For people that want to start with a shotgun to feel more safe, it's going to be on that regular, mode. Think of it like the directed mode. Let's say the directed mode, you started with loadouts, while in the round-based experience, you started with a pistol. That's just to throw some context in there for you guys. But yeah, just make two separate modes. So this one is going to tie into my first point of talking about the classic mode, is, encouraging people to do the Easter egg by giving them a weapon key. Now, this weapon key could be unlocked by doing the Easter egg, doing some random side thing around the map, or completing a challenge where you get, let's say, a weapon key. And you could take any weapon from Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 7 into round 1 of the starting match. Therefore, you're still starting with a pistol, but if you get this weapon key, then you can start with something like the Maelstrom. On round 1, use Hidden Power, use like Perkaholic or whatever the case may be. But you're still starting classic. But if you do get this weapon key, you can then use it on any weapon within Call of Duty to just be that overpowered soldier at the very beginning. But now it's your turn. What system of mine do you want to see within Call of Duty Black Ops 7 Zombies? Is it classic mode? Is it BO4? Or is it classic with weapon key? Let me know down there in the comment section below. As always, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. It really does mean a lot. If we can get a like goal of 3 likes here on this video, that would be greatly appreciated. As with always, this is Bear Z signing off. Stay healthy, stay clean. Bye.